Welcome back, everybody, to the Warlord of SBAS plays Torment, Ties of Numenera. Episode 47, I believe. Last time we finished talking to Magda, and we went outside to the Gavanastery and where that weird orb thing is. Now we're just exploring that once we opened it.
I'm going.
So let's continue seeing what this is. First, I see stuff I can steal. War mask. Neat. Ornament. Artifact. Eyes of Sucker Punch. Attack that deals the weapon damage +5 if the target has a negative fatale. Okay. Sweet. So let's first look at this device thing. The machine hums softly. An orange glow appears beneath its dark, glowy surface. A large alien symbol dominates the space, with words in a similar script on the side, but you cannot understand the writing. Even so, it feels like you've seen the writing somewhere before. Try to decipher it. Now of them only, I have 2 of these. It's now even cheaper to get all the way up here. Sweet. After studying the next text for several minutes, you begin to see, whereas simply remember the pattern of the words. In a flash, the purpose of the device comes back to you. This is an omniscope, a device used to view a location from afar. The large alien symbol is actually an inhuman handprint. The longer list next to the set of location names. And the shorter list denotes range of time. How far back in time the omniscope should look. Discover that you can actually read them all. Look at the list of locations. There are 8 locations listed, all of them within near series of cliffs. Selecting one will presumably shift the omniscope to look in the direction Gavanastery is currently selected. I'll leave it as it is right now. Look at the list of approximate times. There are 3 numbers here, presently a rough time frame. Perhaps days, months, or years. The numbers are strange, but you are fairly certain you understand the meaning. Selecting one will presumably direct the omniscope to look at the time frame. The current selection is 1, which you make to mean the present. Select 128. Need current location. Don't want to change it at random. Place your hand on it. See what happens. As soon as you place your hand on the surface, the machine reacts. The glowing items on the 2 list blink. Draw lines to a rectangle of a view screen that wasn't there before. The screen shows the plateau of the Gavanastery. It looks exactly the same as the scene before you. Alright. Approximate times. What about 12? What does that do? Access the view screen. Plateau of the Gavanastery. The image on the view screen changed rapidly, showing Gavanastery over days and weeks. Travelers come and go, though the ships with the fish-like passengers or goods marked with Julius remain in the docks for a long time. Interesting. Let's try a different time then. What about 128? Access the view screen again. Gavanastery. The image on the view screen changed rapidly, showing Gavanastery over many years. The docks have been bustling centers of trade for as far back in time as you can see. In the earliest recorded time, you can see the 2 figures standing atop this very observation platform, a male and a female. Bright flashes and ghosts of smoke suggest a great battle but it took place along the cliffs below. Until the main activity is something on the central panel. A faint veil of energy encircles the city, and the tumult suddenly ends. Alright. Solve that. Not sure what this is for. It's cool. I might just go through everything just cause. Maybe it'll lead to something. The reef, and 1. Alright. Oh, actually, that's it. You see a half-sunken building. The artifacts are of the reef of the fallen worlds. Where you crashed into the earth. So presumably, if I jump off of this area, will I end up in the reef? Is that what it's telling me? Alright, neat. Time 12. What now? So yeah, that's like a building artifacts refalling the worlds. Or crashed into the earth. Image of the view screen changes rapidly, showing the reef over days and weeks. The most interesting occurrence is the time frame when you fell. There's a bright flash and you can see Algar and Calista watching the skies. Then Algar twists his hands in the air, sending multicolored energy up into the sky. Second later, there's a white streak encased in the same energy slamming into the crystal dome at the edge of the reef. So, what was that all about? Let's see. So, tell me about the way back. Back to the view screen again. Image of the view screen changes rapidly, showing a reef over many years. First thing you notice is the construction of the Synth dome. Same dome you crashed into when you fell to Earth. A man with a cast-off tattoo works alongside the various automatons, and the cast-off is wearing tattooed leather robes. An alarming number of wires and tubes protrude from his body. Little else changes until you reach images from centuries past. Massive war constructs crawl across the reef, firing weapons toward the city above. One of them is struck by a blast from a defensive battery, and it collapses into the crystalline water. As it settles, you recognize back as the place where you met Cora. There is nothing before assault upon the city. When you try to look further into the past, the images loop back to the present. Start over. Interesting. So everything begins at the war. Apparently, according to this device. This is locations. Circus Minor. Let's see. Look at the list of approximate times. In. Let's see. Nothing interesting. Alright, next time. And blah blah blah, square and blah. Introduction chain method showing about Bustling Square over days and weeks. Violent parade, bound and change, person tells you he is walking to his death. Algorithm close to pass, confirm quiet, blah blah blah. Nothing interesting. 128. View screen. The image of view screen change rapidly showing. Buildings rise and fall as time passes. One of the particular catches your attention is built from the purple rock and rises perfectly straight. Perhaps 50 stories tall on the inside, a magnificent mural of a creature. Or perhaps a tree or a storm. But you feel certain it is the creature, perhaps the creature, the sorrow that is haunting you. The building stood for centuries before it was torn down. List of locations, cliff's edge. Approximate time. 1. And back to the view screen. Blah blah blah. Nothing interesting. Alright. Now look at the list of approximate times. 12. Alright. Delving visitor belt into cliffs, and many of them, blah blah blah. Change rapidly showing the cliffs over weeks and days, building collapse into the sea quickly. Is there something was undermining them? We already know that was the Stitcha. We fixed that. And 120. Access view screen. Blah blah blah. And the future change rapidly. Blah blah blah. Further back in the past, you look. More buildings there are. They have been falling gradually into the sea over many centuries. Above and below you are set. There are seaward facing batteries, defensive weapons, and predate the ninth world. They too collapse into the sea as the years pass. Shortly before the distant past ends, the last of them topples out from his perch, leaving the city defenseless. Well, that's not good. Kinda need defenses. Let's see. Government Square. Approximate times. When. I'm assuming it says nothing of interest. Nope, nothing of interest on 1. How about 12? Blah blah blah, grounded zone. The image view changes rapidly, blah blah blah. Pale woman with yellow hair standing in front of the magical gateway. Occasionally you see children enter the exit portal. We already know that. Oops, we don't want the location. We want the way back. Access view screen again. Blah blah blah. Ooh, experience something. Image of the view screen changes rapidly, showing its where over many years. Centuries ago, there was some kind of rebellion. It spilled out from the bloom up to the highest parts of Sid's class, leading the charge is a woman wielding a glowing hammer. She is covered entirely with silver scales. She doesn't even have a face that you can see. Her followers are numerous, and their leaders are of ancient cities are quickly killed or subdued. Alright. Neat. Cavernassery, where we did the Bloom, which we haven't yet been. And we want to go the now time. View screen again. Alright. The view screen shows a dark shadow on the flank side. Scissors cliffs on one side. At the bottom of the chasm is a carpet of debris that seems to flow like a river from a junkyard north of the city beyond the sea. In the darkest part of the chasm, beneath the cloud of greasy smoke, is a city-sized mass of living flesh. The Bloom. Its name springs readily to mind. Plucked from the sire's membrane. Tubes and tendrils sprout from the Bloom in 100 directions, many of them attached to the cliffs on either side. Merchants and other scattered figures travel along the Bloom tendrils. A stone gatehouse partially subsumed within the mass of flesh, which seemed to be the obvious entrance, but very few are coming or going through its gates. A number of scavengers sift through the debris outside the Bloom, tossing most of what they find into one of the Bloom's many orifices. Alright. What about 12? Next review screen again. Blah blah blah. Image view screen changes rapidly. Blah blah blah. The Bloom sees the laws of diverse traffic, merchants, refugees, and the destitute. A number of shady figures enter and exit, mostly through a stone gatehouse that is partially subsumed within the mass of flesh. Not a single levy or scissors clip official ever seems to travel there. Alright, and what about 128? View screen. The screen shows a city-sized mass of flesh, the Bloom, that lurks in the dark shadows beside scissors cliffs. Tubes and trembles, blah blah blah. The image of view screen trends lapsely many years. The further into the past you look, the further north the Bloom is. It looks like it's moving very slowly south over time. Less than fingers length per year toward the sea. Interesting. So it's moving very, very slowly. Alright. Next location. Well, only 2 more left. Captain and grab a sound. You just the name and it close threatening, blah blah blah. Approximate time. Meow. Active view screen again. The screen shows an area north of City Class, below the crag of the city, where the land stretches out to the horizon. Amidst it, a maze of bluffs and outcroppings. Excuse me. All outcropping is all manners of debris, most of it predating the Ninth World. I know it's sent to more or less rise above the field of scrap. A functioning machine perches on the edge of the enormous pit. Strange plants and vines struggle to command the land. It's even more cluttered and fantastic than the reef of the fallen worlds. Scavengers wander the maze, not all of them human. They pick out whatever Numenera or scraps they can find. Time 12. Next view screen again. Blah blah blah. In the view screen changes rapidly, showing the junkyard over days and weeks. Scavengers come and go. A small campfire catches your eye. An oddity in the junkyard. Rin's small figure hunches over it. She looks scared. Interesting. So Rin was in the junkyard. That's good to know. Approximate times 28. Next view screen again. Blah blah blah. Examine come and go. And North Pit grows slowly. The North Pit grows slowly larger. The more distant pass, a wall stretches across the junkyard, bristling with the northward facing batteries to protect the city from attack. But as time passes, the wall is abandoned and the batteries crumble into ruin. And the whole structure is subsumed beneath the surrounding trash. Alright. And last location. Grava Sound. Approximate time. New. Access to view screen. View screen shows a vast sea of the south to peninsula embrace the waters for many kilometers. The sea stretches out to the horizon. The sea is placid. A small number of ships plying the harbor seeking fish and sunken artifacts. Alright. 12. View screen again. Blah blah blah. Strange ships come and go. Both sea and air bring trade goods from places you can't see beyond the horizon. Alright. And 128. View screen again. Blah blah blah. Long time ago, the cliff sides had defensive batteries built into the rock. All of these have collapsed into or fallen into ruin. An orange marshalling whale glides into the bay with a small village. Built on its back. Before it can reach the cliffs, the batteries thunder into the lives, destroying the whale and the entire village. Oh, well that's not good. Alright, I believe I looked everywhere. Neat. Got some experience. Minor, maybe.
Ready.
So what does this do? Holographic panel, excuse me. Here's going to be a control surface interface. In the center, what it looks like a utility map of City's Cliffs. It's surrounded by a number of symbols that cannot immediately identify. And on the upper right quadrant is some sort of cube within a cube. Strange as the panel is, you can't shake a strange sense of familiarity with it. Trying to remember. Let's just go full bore with this, might as well. Aha!
I'm ready to learn something new.
Sweet. Level. The area emerges as you clear as if it was happening right now. You are a cracked door at the base of the stairwell. The door squeaks quietly as you ease it open. Your breath catches in your throat. but the Tibet soldiers outside don't notice you. You squeeze through the door, a keen eye. Younger girl behind you. You slip up to the tower, down the bloodstained corridor into the city. The city is under attack. You dash through the streets to the nearest of your generators, pressing a couple of buttons, and you and the girl are teleported elsewhere. Find yourself in front of the very same control panel at the top of the cliff. With a quick movement, you shift the Tesseract, slipping the controls from space to time. Then you press the cluster of stars to connect the network of temporal shield generators. On the map, the network generators burst to life, sharing the energy across the stage, creating a enormous shield over the city's cliffs. A dome of energy fills the sky on more in the city from the time itself. On the other side of the shield, the world shifts and shimmers. Objects and landscapes appear and disappear before your eyes. Places are the same, and you realize, but you're seeing it in many different time periods at once. The important thing is that no one can enter the city, the dome, while the city is temporarily unmoored. You should buy the city's defenders the space they need to fight off the Tibet and survive. The memory fades and you stand above the cavernessor again. The interface is the same as the one from the memory, and you understand what at least some of the controls do. Examine the interface closely. Messages has a number of locations highlighted, some of which you recognize. There are 4 symbols around it. A circle that looks like the sun, a cluster of stars, a triangle of 3 eyes, and what looks like a crystal lattice. All the symbols are lit except for the crystal lattice. Larger than all 4 symbols is the cube within a cube, which you suddenly remember is called a Tesseract. It appears to be moving. Try to determine the purpose of various interface elements.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Oh, another level. More machinery. The panel appears to monitor and maintain networks of machines. Though the purpose of those networks is a mystery, still you can guess what the symbols mean. The sun probably activates a single location like this platform, while the cluster of stars that attempts to connect the entire network. Triangle of eyes is to inspect something. Maybe the status of networks. The crystal lattice, you think, indicates repairs. It would probably light up if it was needed. Man. I'm gonna try to fuck with the machine way above what I know. Activate the platform by pressing the sun. What does that do? The platform hum, pops, and sizzles for a few seconds. Activating it outside the platform shifts people flicker in and out. Cabin actually changes first the ships and then the buildings themselves. You see them as old and deteriorated than new, then under construction on the bare rock, all within seconds. Your platform remains steady, but outside, as if time is shifting as swiftly as the sea. Platform shudders suddenly and clicks off. The air cools and quiets. The catenacity returns to the way it was. After keeping the energy dome active for solid centuries or longer, seeing that the platform no longer has enough power to remain active. Connect the current network by pressing the cluster of stars. The bright points on the map grows even brighter, and the platform beneath your feet hums with a growing warmth. This transient energy barely visible in the sunlight stretch across the city between each location on the map. At the same time, faded lines appear on the map, connecting each point. Network of generators, which this panel controls. Then with a loud pop, the energy fades, the humming stops, and everything returns the way it was. Inspect the current network by pressing the eyes. The map changes color. Each of the bright points light up in turn, and occasionally stretching a faded line from one point to another. After a minute of this, the map fades. A voice speaks the truth directly into your mind. Temporal network connection limited. Please repair the network. Crystal lattice next to the map lights up. Alright. Repair the network by pressing crystal lattice. Again, the map lights up and changes color. Then the lines between each point grow, fade. Some of them grow solid and sphere. Others have gaps in them, and never light up at all. After several minutes, the activity color ceases, and the voice speaks to you again. Could not restore network. Temporal connections have deteriorated beyond repair. Please consult your system conservatory immediately. You can't raise the shields again like in your memory, but the network was had another purpose you remember. In the memory, you used the Telescopic to shift controls from time to space. Perhaps it shifted it back. Alright, let's shift it back. As soon as you touch the impossible cube, shifts and moves with your fingers. It seems to snap into two different states. With unfamiliar gestures, you rotate the tesseract. The inner cube squeezes out and becomes the outer cube, while the outer cube becomes the inner one. Well, that's mindfuckery. Some of the locations lit up in the map change. Among other locations, two new lights appear in the cavernary. One marking the platform where you're standing. Now, the outer cube moves in space, no longer flickering as it was before. Presumably, the controls are now set to the spatial dimension. Crystallize next to the map dims again. Press this on.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Oh, it did something. A four-winged bird flaps on a desperate trying to avoid the sphere, but its momentum is too great. It hits the sphere, disappearing with a cloud squeak. Far below the cavern, you see the same bird tumble to the ground. It stands up, disoriented, and flaps its wings and takes off again. After a few moments, the humming winds down, the sphere fades, and all is silent again. So it's like a shield. This activates the shield. And inspect the current network by pressing the eyes. And that's next to the map. Lights up. What? Again, the map lights up and changing colors. Lines appears between each point. Some of the faded while others have gaps in them. One by one, each line becomes brighter and brighter, connected to the rest. After several minutes, the map shows a network of points. The control panel ceases acting. Voice speaks again. Spatial network is restored. Connection procedure may now proceed. Alright. Well, I'm going to end it here, and we'll see what happens when you activate these spatial connections next time. So until next time, remember to brace the chaos, so you'll go mad. Bye.